Welcome, everybody, to the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners meeting. This is our workshop meeting, and it is May 13th, 2026, and we're starting at 7:04 p.m. Call to order, and we'll get a roll call.
President Lestraco.
Here.
Vice President Partha.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus. Here. Commissioner DeLessio.
Here.
Commissioner Zipfel.
Here.
Okay, for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to call on Mrs. Pianzio. So you were looking at me. Your solicitor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now go into approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner DeLessio. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zipfel. Thank you. All in favor for approving this agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I also want to announce that we had an executive session prior to this meeting, and we discussed personnel matters. And so now I will go into citizens' comments for agenda items only. Do I have any citizens' comments? You can come up to the podium and state your name and address. Seeing none, I'll move on. We're going to go into consent items. Do I have a motion to enter into the record the following? VMSC, monthly report for March, Colmar Volunteer Fire Company, monthly report for March, the police report for April, and the NPWA meeting minutes from the March 24th meeting. That's the North Penn Water Authority. Sorry about that. Do I have a motion to enter into the record?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Commissioner Zipfel and second by Commissioner DeLessio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Okay, it is passed. Okay, we're going to send it over to the other side for the public hearing for the liquor license transfer hearing, 2278 North Penn Road.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tonight we're going to have a hearing, and I'll read the notice. This is a notice given that on Wednesday, May 13, 2026, at 7 p.m. prevailing time at the Hatfield Township Municipal Building, located at 1950 School Road, Hatfield, Pennsylvania, 19440. The Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing to consider the request of CJD 2L Hat LLC for approval of a liquor license transfer from 1339 Sandy Street, aka 1339 Sandy Hill Road, first floor level, Norristown, PA 19401-4155 in the municipality of Norristown, to 2278 North Penn Road, Hatfield, Pennsylvania, 19440. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive comments and recommendations of interested township residents relative to the transfer. So this is an intermunicipal liquor license transfer. I'm going to mark the following board exhibits. T1 is the applicant's request letter dated March 31, 2026. T2 is an email to the applicant regarding the waiver and applicant's acceptance of the waiver dated April 7, 2026. T3 is an email to the newspaper dated April 24, 2026. T4 is a notice to the applicant dated April 29, 2026. T5 is the legal notice of this hearing. T6 is the proof of publication showing the advertisement on April 29 and May 6, 2026. And T6 is the sample resolution from the applicant. So this is a required hearing pursuant to state statute of the Pennsylvania Liquor Code. Whenever there is a transfer of a liquor license outside of municipality, we're required to have this hearing. The applicant is represented by counsel Anthony Beldekos.
Yes.
And I'll turn it over to him. We do not have a court reporter. This is a very informal hearing. Mr. Beldekos will walk you through what they're planning on doing, and then we accept any comments from the public and questions from the board.
Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Beldicos. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I have with me Louis Jabir, who is the Chief Hospitality Officer for the applicant for all of their locations. I passed up a packet of exhibits, which will be a second exhibit I'd like to introduce into the record, which consists of floor plans, some photographs, and a menu of the location. As you probably already know, this is the indoor sports venue, which is literally across the street from the township. It's been there for 20 years. It has a concession already in it, as you can see from the photographs we've submitted. And the floor plan shows how we're going to set up tables and chairs in the serving area in front of the concession stand, and the liquor license will be added to that location. The company has 22 concessions like this in 10 states, 16 of which have liquor licenses. They have 2 locations in Pennsylvania here and 1 in Elkins Park. The total square footage of the restaurant area will be 4,000 square feet. 800 is the concession building, and 3,200 will be the seating area. It is a licensed restaurant, so it is open to the public. Anyone can come in. You don't have to be playing soccer if you want to come in and have a sandwich and a beer. The hours of operation are 7 days a week from 9 in the morning to 11 at night. The restaurant is open only when the soccer field is open. It won't be open if the soccer field is not in operation. The applicant will employ between 4 and 6 persons. There'll be approximately 60 seats for patrons. From experience in their other locations, the ratio between food and alcohol is 75% food, 25% alcohol in the other states that they've operated. Of course, all the staff will be RAMP trained, Responsible Alcohol Management Program. It's a requirement by the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board that they take a course. The servers can do it online. The PLCB manager has to go to a live program and be instructed on all the requirements of operating alcohol in a responsible way. The licensee has no citations from any other liquor authority in any of the other states they operate. And of course, this is as the solicitor mentioned, this is a prerequisite to the next step. If the board is kind enough to approve the transfer into the municipality, then we still have to apply to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board in a normal transfer. If the license was coming from a license inside Hatfield, then it would just go to the state. But there were no available licenses, so we found one in Norristown, so we're bringing it here. And that is pretty much the application summary. If you have questions, I'm available, and of course, Mr. Gerbert is here to answer any specific questions you might have.
Could I have the spelling of his name, please? Your witness, what is his name and spelling, please?
Yes, Louis Gerbert, Gerbier. He is the applicant's chief hospitality officer for all of their locations nationally. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Valdicos, can I ask, is this truly liquor or is it beer and wine?
We mostly serve beer and wine because that's what our customer really want. The intent is not to turn this into a bar. It's simply as an amenity for our customers and whoever is interested in having a.
So it would just be beer and wine,
Yes.
not liquors?
Correct.
The license allows liquor, but he's saying that most of his customers, nobody ever asks for liquor, so they only carry beer and wine at their other locations because there's no market for it. There is no beer and wine license in Pennsylvania. There is no such thing. If you get a restaurant license, it covers everything. There is an eating place license that just allows beer. It's like a deli.
Yeah.
If you've been into some places where you can buy a sandwich over here and a pound of ham and cheese, and then over here there's some tables and chairs and they have coolers with beer. In those licenses, that's a type of retail license where you can only sell beer. But a restaurant liquor license allows everything.
Okay.
Are you willing to stipulate that you would not sell hard liquor? You would only sell beer and wine?
Will you stipulate to that? He wants to know if you would agree not to sell liquor, just beer and wine. Yes, he would agree to that.
Thank you.
You had mentioned, you had mentioned that the alcohol service would only be occurring when the soccer field was open. Is the soccer field also, does that go till 11 o'clock at night
Yes,
typically?
yes,
7 days a week?
yes.
Okay.
And when it closes earlier, we don't stay open, with an empty facility. We just close it earlier. So yes, at the latest until 11 p.m.
Can I ask a question about your Elkin Park facility?
Yes, of course.
Have you ever had instances after introducing a liquor to that facility where things got out of hand or police had to be called or any such or disorderly conduct as a result?
We don't have a beer and wine or any alcohol in our Elkins Park location.
Oh, you don't? It's not? Okay.
No, it's
I
not
misunderstood.
No, but we have licenses in 16 of the 22 facilities that we operate. And, I mean, it has happened that there has been disorderly conduct. We usually have a very good relationship with the police department. We have a security camera system that is recording 24/7, has facial recognition. So we're able to really work hand in hand with the police department to address typically those issues, flag anyone customer who might have to be banned from the facility for abusing staff or abusing other customers. So we are very strict about this, right? It all starts from a safe environment for families to come and enjoy, the beautiful sports, beautiful game.
I'm sorry, you can't. Can you just wait for a moment? We'll do public comment when the board's done. Thank you.
Is there a minimum age for your servers? If they're serving beer at the table, is it minimum age of 21?
Yeah, they have to be 21.
Have to be 21?
There can be people under 21 that serve food, but anyone handling the liquor has to be 21.
Okay.
And when if there was a camp in session and young people are working as counselors, how would you, or anytime, how would you lock it up and keep it away from those workers and those children that might not have, their parents wouldn't be there because they'd be there for other reasons?
I completely understand the concern. Typically, when we have a youth program, there are strictly youth program without any adult supervisors, like any of the parents, there as a guardian. We don't open we don't sell beer and wine. We would sell snacks, candies, and sodas, but no alcohol.
But how is it kept, locked and away from somebody possibly being interested in it and wanting it?
Well,
what do you do?
There's a storage room for any alcohol, and typically we use draft system. So, the draft would be closed down at night or, whenever there is no, whenever we're not selling alcohol. If that answers your question.
Okay, yes, thank you.
No patron can carry liquor in with them, is that correct?
Bring alcohol inside, you mean?
Right.
No.
Okay.
And
And
we-
then you had mentioned during tournaments, most of what happens, I would imagine most of your venues are tournaments or soccer matches with youth. And you're stating that you wouldn't serve beer during those events. You have to help me out a little bit.
No, only when there is no guardians. So typically when there are tournaments, there are guardians. So, if a parent wants to have a beer while they're there the whole day, we would, of course, observe the rules, that are in line with all the safety measures.
Right. But
no,
most
so-
games are, most of those venues, when kids are playing, parents are there. So if there's one parent there, you're going to serve a beer to them if they want it. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there's not really a time period where you wouldn't sell if an adult is there and wants a beverage. Correct?
Correct.
All right.
You may have said this, and if you did, and I'm going to ask you to repeat it. Do you have an estimate of how many tables that you're going to have? Is that what you said?
65.
We said about 65 seatings.
And that is going to be in the seating area that's right behind? Okay, so I am remarkably familiar with this location as my kids have not only played way too many hours of soccer there, and I've coached way too many hours of basketball there. 65 spots, 65 seats is going to be more than a few tables for sure. Is your plan to ever use the basketball courts for purpose of seating, eating, events where the food is?
No, because it's not part of the licensed area. If you look on the floor map, the seating area is just the yellow area.
Right.
So we would have about, usually we consider 8 to 10 communal table that fit, between 6 and 8 people. So that's how we came up with the 60 numbers, 60
Okay.
to 65.
And I'm assuming that's kind of a first come, first serve, sitting at a table, right? You're not going to have waiters and waitresses.
No.
There's not going to be a waits
It's all
situation.
self-serve.
Self-service.
Self-serve. Okay. And I know this might sound like it's a minute issue, but I'm familiar with your current menu. Is this going to impact your future menu as far as, I'll be blunt, you sell a lot of candy. There's a lot of kids, there's a lot of candy. That's the majority of what nachos, pretzels, things like that. Is there going to be a movement towards more of a meal on your menu, or is it really just going to be your menu is going to be supplemented with the beer and wine?
No, the intent is to build a more enhanced menu. If we look at other facilities, we have pizzas, we have quesadillas, we have tacos, more substantive meals.
And then I'm assuming that the validation of age is going to take place at the point of purchase.
Correct. So typically the way it works is whoever comes and asks for alcohol, we check their ID, by law. Our staff is RAM certified, so they know how to check the ID and verify that it's the right ID. We typically then add a wristband.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's the monitoring mechanism here?
Yes. So we ask a non-removable wristband to anyone who's been IDs who's been checked. The ones you would get in concert venues or things like this. And so that we know that whoever is drinking, the staff can verify that whoever is drinking has the wristband, and if someone is drinking without the wristband, we know what to do.
Okay.
Okay.
The liquor license does stipulate only that seating area is where beer can be served, right? That's what you stated?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the PLCB is very strict about the licensed area. You have to identify it as serving, kitchen, storage, and it can't be served anywhere other than the areas that are licensed.
But a patron can get up and
Area.
put the beer in hand and move wherever they want to?
Yes, they can move it, but it can't be,
Served.
yeah, it can't be served, right.
Okay.
But they can't take it outside of the building because there's state laws about open containers.
Open containers, right?
Yes.
And they're not likely to bring it out into the soccer fields because there's a soccer field. Honestly, I think you're going to get overflow with parents going
And
into the
there's no
basketball
reason
court.
to because you can see everything.
Right. The reason I ask about the basketball courts, it's a big wide open spot, right? People don't like to be standing on top of somebody else when they're eating. So moms and dads are going to grab a beer and they're going to drift back towards the basketball courts where they can still see the soccer fields, and that's going to be your monitoring issue for sure.
Or they can sit at the tables. Of course, monitoring is one of the, it's going to be one of the topics that the staff has to be, will have to monitor, that we stay within the delimited licensed area. Yes.
Okay, understood.
Okay. So the transfer of liquor license in Pennsylvania is heavily regulated by the Liquor Control Board. So this hearing leaves us with not much to do. The applicant has no burden of proof. The only requirement for this hearing is to take comments and recommendations of interested individuals residing in the municipality. Comments only. So that's really it. They've gone above and beyond by explaining it. You've asked very good questions. So at this point, if anyone in the audience has comments and recommendations and you reside in the municipality, now would be the time to go to the podium, please.
Thank you.
Your name? Your name.
Becky McHenry.
Hang on, Becky. Your address, please?
442 Knightsbridge Lane, Hatfield.
I'm sorry, 442?
Knightsbridge.
And what would be your comment or recommendation?
I have a question. So I know that that facility gets packed. And a comment, it will be a comment.
Okay.
My concern is that when it gets so crowded over there, like Tom said.
Yep.
How are they going to control people with getting out of the building? Because I'm pretty, unless they gate them off, how are they going to get them stay contained in that area to drink? Because I've been there and people put tents out and they do all different types of festivities out in that parking lot. How are they going to control people to leave with the alcohol?
So your comment or recommendation would be some sort of crowd control that
Or-
maybe they don't have now, or something to enhance?
Well, how are they going to manage? Are they going to have somebody at the door watching that they don't walk out?
Do you gentlemen care to answer that question, or would you just like to receive that comment? And if you could use the microphone, because we record these, please.
First, thank you for your question. Our matter is, it's really important for us to address those because we're a family environment, so we understand the concern. For large tournaments, we typically have additional staff that would basically control that there is no alcohol that leaves the facility. It's a very important matter for us. And so that's how we would control it. We would have additional staff on those days specifically here to make sure there is no alcohol leaving the facility.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Actually, a quick question, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyway. Is there a prohibition or limitation on how many beers or glasses of wine somebody can purchase? Or do you anticipate that? And I'll tell you why. Separate and apart from the logistical and geographic questions that we're asking you, there's always a risk at any sports event, that someone's going to have too much to drink and then become belligerent. And it's it's a family environment. It's your business. You know this better than I do. There's not a risk so much as that's a problem, right? And so the monitoring in particular is a real concern for me as I'm thinking of it. Is that something that you would consider as far as a limitation on and I don't even know how you do that, right? How do you track how many beers someone has ordered? But, well, let me ask this. Is there a limit when I go up to the counter? Can I only buy so many beers and wine?
You can only have 1 cup per ID.
Okay.
So if you buy a pitcher, and you have to show 4 IDs for 4 cups.
Good.
For example.
Good.
It's very hard to enforce any type of limitation on the number of drinks you have throughout a 6-hour event.
Yeah.
So the best way for us to approach this is to have very strict guidelines in terms of training of our staff to identify any behavior that would lead us to believe that someone is intoxicated or need to be cut off.
Assuming the transfer takes place, how quickly do you anticipate? Well, you got to go to the LCB, right? I don't know how long that process takes, but I assume it's a few months or more.
Yeah, about 4 months.
Yeah. So you're hoping for, I mean, obviously the interest in the business would be to do this as soon as possible. You're looking at the fall, which of course is kind of the beginning of indoor soccer. Okay.
Yes, that's the goal for us, to be ready
That's the
for the
goal.
winter.
Yep.
Anything else? Anything else, gentlemen? All right, great. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
That's it for the hearing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Moving on to committee reports. We're going to go to Planning and Zoning Committee with Commissioner DeLassio.
Thank you,
To announce
President.
that. Thank you.
We have 3 discussions tonight. The first one is the car wash at Snyder Square, and I believe the applicant is here to present.
Good evening. My name is Joe Bagley. I'm the attorney for the applicant. And as the Commissioner mentioned, this is the car wash at 1510 Cowpath Road. This is the last pad site that has frontage on Cowpath Road and Snyder Square Shopping Center. And I think you can see with a giant star where it's located at the shopping center. It's a 5,561 square foot car wash. It's going to have one tunnel. It is, if you can see, this would be,
Hey, Joe, can you either grab the mic while you talk and pull it off the holder, or, yeah, that's better, thanks.
if you can see, this is Snyder Square Drive right here. This is where Cowpath Road would be, right here. And this is the interior drive of the shopping center. So you're going to enter right here. You're going to drive in a queue this way. You're going to pull up to where these kiosks are for the membership or a card or a payment with your credit card. You're going to enter the car wash through the tunnel, and you're going to come out here. You're going to, these are vacuums, and these are vacuum stalls. You're going to pull up. You can use a vacuum if you want to. It's optional. Then you're going to exit this way. This is the giant gas station, the existing giant gas station right here. So we've gone through with the zoning hearing board and the planning commission. It's a really good layout for stacking of cars for queuing. If you can see, we do have an exhibit if we find it necessary, but you can stack 32 cars in the spaces there. We presented evidence to the zoning hearing board and to the planning commission that showed this same tenant, Flagship Car Wash, has car washes in Virginia and Maryland, and through the data we showed that the week peak day hour, you would have 20 cars in line at a much larger car wash than this, a 15,000 square foot car wash. So we had more than adequate space to queue cars in there. I also pointed out to the planning commission when asked that lines of cars for car washes are also self-limiting. If somebody pulls up and sees that there's a line of cars, a car wash is generally optional, so you can move off until you find the line palatable that you want to get into. We have 16 spaces for vacuums. We have spaces here for the employees. There's going to be 1 to 3 employees, 3 employees on the largest shift. It's going to be open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. It's going to be open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. And that's just a general overview of the car wash.
Joe, you said you've been to the planning commission. You have a recommendation from them?
Yeah, the planning commission not only recommended approval, they also recommended the waivers that we had asked for. And I believe Mr. McAdam is familiar with each one of those waivers. We received, I believe, all the review letters we received from the traffic engineer and from Mr. McAdam are all will comply on the part of the applicant.
But for the waivers?
Yes.
Okay.
You had mentioned there's room to stack 32 cars. Is that 32 cars before, at the kiosk and before that?
It's actually in line before the tunnel and before the kiosk.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
If there's no questions, normally we would move this to the next meeting. I would
Yes.
prepare a resolution for your review, send it to you, and then the applicant ahead of time for your
Yep.
consideration at your next meeting.
Yep, that would work. Anything from our engineer? We're good?
No, they were going to comply with the review letters.
Okay.
There was quite a bit of discussion about the circulation patterns. They did provide a revised layout to show different circulation pattern to address Anton, the Township Traffic Engineer's concerns about queuing in general. And there was an exhibit shown at the Planning Commission that showed 32, 34 cars that are completely within the lease area, that will not get outside and kind of spill over into the rest of the shopping center. Our review is extremely short. There's a couple of cleanup items, but no issues whatsoever.
Okay. So thank you so much for coming, and we will be back together in 2 weeks to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And our okay.
Next applicant?
Yep.
You okay if I move on, Aaron?
Yes.
Yes. So the next one is 182 Bethlehem Pike, minor subdivision discussion. I don't think we have an applicant here. This is a pretty straightforward subdivision of one parcel that is both commercial and residential, to subdivide into 2 parcels, splitting the commercial from the residential. There's no intent to develop on the residential portion. And that, is there an applicant?
Do we have a comment from somebody from 1510 Cowpath Road? No? Or you're from the next?
Me?
Yeah.
I live in Hatfield Village. Could I have a minute or two?
Okay, we're
coming to that
coming
one
to
right
that.
after this
We
one.
promise. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure you weren't here for the first
No, ma'am, I'm just
item. Okay.
basically
Well,
say that
can
those of you know
can we hold off, please? We're going to come to you, we promise.
You can't disrupt the meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
But you all know it's my train and this is my property, right? So you're all spending my money.
Here we go.
So,
Well-
1950 is a total waste of money. And
I'm going to have to stop you, and we'll have
You're
time
not
for
at the
your
micro-
comment.
you know who I am, and I basically say COVID started right here. You all know who I am. Now, who broke the bricks out front the other day? Who broke the bricks out front? I reported at 7:30 in the morning, and your police officers had 8 units, probably the most incompetently led police department in the history of the United States. I didn't, oh gee, what was the timing on that? A couple seconds, you had a car accident out on the street. You had a car accident out on the street the other day, 20 minutes for responders. I watched this now. Now, there was a book I put in the vestibule the other day that said, this, 2 Ben Franklin's, this, thank you, you are very strong.
All
It's
right.
good to know our chief is very
Sorry,
strong.
just was making sure he wasn't talking about
Sorry,
an item that
folks.
we missed, so we're good. No, but it's good. We're all good. We're all good.
Okay.
Can you start over again?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start
So
over.
we're going to start over with the application at 182 Bethlehem Pike, which is the minor subdivision, to create 2 parcels from one and split the residential from the commercial, and no development right now on the residential portion. And I don't think we have an applicant here to
Correct.
say more.
Correct.
This is near Produce Junction, and Aaron, you can maybe help acclimate everybody to where this piece of property is. It's the
Sure.
old Colmar Imaging, is that-
Correct, yeah, just south of Produce Junction on the same side of 309. Commissioner DeLassio summarized that perfectly. No construction being proposed, the simple subdivision of a lot to create another parcel divided right through the zoning district. Scott, do you want to
Whenever
add?
the residential piece is eventually developed, then they will be required to do stormwater management and all the public improvements.
So we'll prepare a resolution for your consideration in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. We will do that in 2 weeks. Thank you.
And the last item is the applicant from Hatfield Village. This is 2058 Maple Avenue, and you're going to talk to us about enhancements to your pool area and facility around it.
Hello, everyone. Commissioners, public. My name's Daryl Campana. I'm with Eustis Engineers. I'm representing Scully, and we're trying to get a land development approval. Yeah, we can use this one. That works. So this property, the existing property has a pool. It's a pool facility and a clubhouse. It's in need of major repair, so we are proposing a new clubhouse, a maintenance facility, new pools, more parking, keeping the existing soccer and volleyball area, replacing the existing basketball area, and we're relocating the tot lot. All upgrades, and we are handling all stormwater management on the site. We've gone through the planning board and the zoning hearings. We've received review letters, and I believe we are complying with everything that we have seen from the review letters. So yeah, we're just seeking land development approval. But yes, basically improving the existing site in Hatfield Village for the residents, just providing nice amenities for them. Any questions?
What, can you turn on your mic? Sorry.
Is the footprint expanding on any of those renovations, or is this same footprint, just cleaning things up?
We are demolishing most of the buildings that are going to be there. This will be a larger footprint that exists today.
And slightly taller.
And slightly taller, yes.
Just for context. This is the area adjacent to the Township Aquatic Center and Dog Park, just for residents to understand where this is.
So the uses are very complementary of each other.
I'm sorry, maybe you said this. What's your thinking on your timing?
For construction?
Yep.
They would like to start construction this fall, if possible.
Any issues with the review letters, but for the waivers?
Right.
The waivers and the variances, we've reviewed those. There has been no issues that we haven't been able to accommodate that I know of. So we've gone through all those items, and we look to, oh, the police are here.
They're here for you. So, but for the waivers, everything's a will comply in the review letters?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a quick note, quick note for the board. Our review letter that was in the packet is from April 1st of this year. Between then and now, Darrell had submitted a revised set of plans. We had a letter that was issued on May 6th. Even though the previous letter from April 1st was already short at 4 pages, the May 6th letter got even shorter. The waivers were increased by 1 relative to a comment that we had in the letter. It was just based on pipe sizing. So the waivers that are being requested are all of what I always refer to as the usual suspects. Interestingly enough, there are no waivers for landscaping. Our landscape architect worked with Darrell's office, and we were able to accommodate all of the planting requirements in large part because even though this proposal is on a very small portion of the site, it's slightly less than 3 acres, the rest of the community obviously is still there, and the required plantings that won't fit in this general area will be spread out through the rest of the site. So it's kind of nice because the waivers usually are required because you can't fit everything. Here, they're able to make that work. And I will also note that we had very few comments in general. The applicant has applied for and they have received their NPDES permit for the project. So basically pretty clean.
Thank you.
And our May 6th letter will comply? Right?
Yes.
So again, we can draft a resolution for your consideration in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for planning and zoning.
Okay, thank
for
you.
this evening.
And we're going to go on to the pool board, pool advisory board.
Yes.
So
I do have an update there. So our Hatfield Aquatic Center management team tell me we are fully staffed with approximately 160 full and part-time hires, many of whom are the children and grandchildren of local residents, which is a wonderful opportunity for our young residents to gain early employment experience. Our facility and all our lifeguards are Red Cross certified. The township is ready to operate the 2026 pool season safely with the opening next Saturday, May 23rd, for our pre-season weekend hours. I recommend interested residents and non-residents visit the township website, as it's the best source of information on all our hours of operation, season or day pass costs, swim lesson sign-up, lazy river walking, pavilion rental, and more. I look forward to an enjoyable 2026 Aquatic Center season, and I already purchased my own season membership. Last evening, May 12th, Hatfield Aquatic Center Manager John Taylor, Commissioner Jerry Andrus, and on my behalf, Board President Jen Lestaka participated in an in-person walkthrough of the center. They did so along with members of the Pool Advisory Board and other interested members of the public. I was unable to attend due to a late notice conflict. I'm told the discussion focused on opportunities to best utilize the newly acquired open space resulting from the purchase and demolition of the abutting property on Vine Street. So this new area will be a great public space addition to our facility. As the board is aware, the 20-year-old Township Borough joint contract that co-funds the Hatfield Aquatic Center expired last year on September 25th, 2025. That expired contract predicated, among other things, the formation and appointments to a pool advisory board. Contract talks have only recently commenced between borough and township staff, and the outcome of which is needed for this board to review and approve both the formal joint public advice and funding mechanisms for the township-managed aquatic center moving forward. In parallel, talks also need to progress dealing with other jointly funded assets, such as our police force and our new police station. Again, we are fully staffed and ready to open and operate the 2026 Aquatic Center season safely. So the board took the opportunity, now that everything is in place, to pause future advisory meetings for the 2026 season while we progress and conclude negotiations with our borough partners. I value the work of all our citizen volunteers across the many boards and appointees with whom I've personally and productively interacted. Pausing formal advice meetings held around a conference table allows our part-time aquatic staff to focus on pool operations at the facility and to interact directly with all of the pool attendees at the facility. As our township team works with borough staff, I am personally committed to supporting the Aquatic Center, as well as providing a means for the public to share their experiences and suggestions towards its continued success. Anyone who attends the pool continues to be able to interact with and speak directly to aquatic staff members with their questions, their concerns, or their opinions. If someone is not comfortable speaking verbally to pool management staff, they can always contact our township management staff or any of the commissioners. Scott, Aaron, and all of the board contact information can be found on the website. That's all I have on the pool this evening.
Okay.
Yeah, so real quick question. At what point, so majority of the board you said, when did that vote happen? Because I don't remember being a part of that conversation.
There wasn't a vote.
There was no vote.
It was a decision.
By whom? The three majority Democratic commissioners? I wasn't part. I represent 1/5 of the township along the way here. I got voted as 1/5 of the community. I wasn't involved in the conversation. A vote happened somewhere.
We had a discussion last month, and the president paused it. The
Who had
vice
the-
president.
Who had a discussion exactly? I don't remember being part of it.
You were at meetings, at in-person meetings with the pool advisory in April where it was discussed.
That's the pool advisory. I'm asking the Board of Commissioners, the five of us that are elected, represent our community. At what point did a vote take place to pause the pool advisory?
There was not a vote by this board. I don't believe a vote by this board is needed to pause a advisory committee that is predicated on a contract that is expired.
So two of us, were you part of that conversation? So two of us were excluded from that conversation about pausing it. Three of you guys got together somewhere, somehow, sometime. That's it, we're done.
You heard it at the pool advisory board meeting, and you heard it last month at this board meeting.
Yeah.
You understand what's going on, that's my update.
I don't understand what's going on. At some point, the majority of the board, yourself, Jen and Partha to say, we're going to pause the Pool Advisory Commission. On record, you guys want to vote on it now? There's three of you can vote for it.
Do we
Make a
need a
motion.
vote on this? To our solicitor?
This is an advertised public meeting, so you're always allowed to take formal action at a public meeting. It's not an agenda item, although your update is on the agenda.
So let's get on record.
The update is on the original agenda that was sent out to the public, I believe, but it's not on the one from tonight. But
It's
up-
on there.
Right.
Yeah,
If you
it's
see
on
there,
there.
it is, that's the update.
Let's go on record that you and Jen and Partha can vote to pause the Pool Advisory Council or committee meeting.
If the solicitor says we need to take a vote, but I'm not sure that's what she's advising us.
I think we need to be above board, right? You know, open and honest communication, have that dialogue, have a conversation, of which I was not a part of. And you weren't either, right? So 3/5 of the board decided on their own, hey, we're going to pause this thing.
You were part of the conversation, whether you,
When-
but not at a vote, so it,
The conversation, as I recall, and I think we're going back to
an April,
an executive meeting, which was meant to be in private, moving forward with discussions. That's where it was. Hey, we left that meeting. Okay, we got to start those discussions with the borough. That's what I left that meeting with. Not, hey, let's pause this thing. We don't need the input of the Pool Advisory Board. Let them go off on the side. I think they provided some great information over the last years of service. So I'm just trying to figure out, when did that vote happen? Because I wasn't a part of it.
Well, there was no vote, so
that's why you weren't part of it.
if we
There
have a
was no vote.
motion to take a vote, I will motion to take a vote to pause for the season. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of pausing the Pool Advisory Board for the 2026 season, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Shahidal, are you still here? Okay. You might not be able to vote, so any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Shahidal?
He's on the Zoom.
Yeah, but,
Is he muted?
He is muted.
oh, here he is.
Yes, yes.
Shahidal,
Yes, I only hear you.
I'll just, we are voting, I don't know if you heard, we're voting to pause the Pool Advisory Committee for the 2026 season while we're doing contract negotiations. So are you available to vote with us? I mean, are you able
Yes.
to, okay,
Yeah,
you
yes.
understand what I want to say this again. Do you understand what we're voting about?
Yes, they were regarding the pool,
Okay.
the pool board, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So is that okay if I do that one more time? All in favor of pausing the pool board for the 2026 season, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed. No, opposed.
Okay, and there's no abstentions, so that has passed. It has passed.
Microphone?
We will have citizens' comments, yes, but not yet. Okay, so thank you for coming. Okay.
Is this about this item? Because it would be about this item. Are you talking about this item here? You're talking about the item we just voted on? Yes. That's an agenda item, so he can probably speak to it.
Go ahead, up to the
I'm
microphone.
okay with that, yep.
Name? You need a name?
We do?
All right, my name is Peter Ahern. Address?
Yes, please.
2407 School Road. I just want to say I'm personally a lifeguard at the Hatfield Aquatic Center.
Thank you.
I speak on behalf of people who I personally know who are on the Pool Advisory Board and my peers who also work there that I don't think anyone really wants to pause this. Even the people I know on the Pool Advisory Board, it seems as though it's been an idea that was just brought up with no backing towards it. Seems like not much thought has gone into it. And I want to say that I'm a personal witness to how the Pool Advisory Board has helped the facility. I've been in the facility for multiple years now, so I know that they have kept the facilities clean, they've kept them up to date, they've kept them safe, and they have made changes that I have seen with my own eyes that have benefited the facilities of Hatfield Aquatic Center, and I would suggest, I would highly say to all of you that it's something you should consider against, to pause the pool advisory board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a lifeguard for us.
Hi, my name is Becky McHenry, 442 Knightsbridge Lane, Hatfield. I am the president of the Pool Advisory Committee, and I do have to say that this has been a very disappointing outcome, especially now as the season begins. We, as the Pool Advisory Board, I think maybe some people might miss what we do during the season. We're usually there on opening day. We go and we walk and we cheer the team on and the lifeguards on. We give John behind the scenes support. Most importantly, like through the summer season, we walk around, we thank the lifeguards, we thank all the employees. We say, you know what, you guys are doing a great job. I think by you pausing this is going to do a little bit more harm to the morale of this community and the morale of that pool staff. Coming from a lifeguard, you just heard it. So I definitely think that it was a wrong decision to be made, and maybe pausing it after the season, but I think we as a committee is a great cheerleader for John and that staff and everything at that pool. And it's an unfortunate decision that you made. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so as I stated before, any decisions made or conversation about the pool I want to be involved with as a commissioner, not involved with the first, till now, this vote. So any decisions made about the operation of that pool, I expect to be invited to it, and I expect to be those hours where I can attend. It can't be when I work, I got a daytime gig. It's got to be after hours and not weekends.
Understood.
Owen Wilcox, 32 East School Street, Hatfield. My question is more of, I guess, a point of order, but I know some rules changed, but my understanding was you couldn't, I don't know how you voted on an action item that wasn't on the agenda. It was under committee reports. My understanding is you'd have to amend the agenda, which happened at the beginning of the meeting, so I'm just curious the mechanics of that.
Public comment,
So-
not questions for the solicitor. Thank you.
Okay. So it's my understanding that somebody called to question, because this is a commissioners' meeting, that's why we did the vote when we did.
I may have you make a couple more votes after this public comment,
Okay.
just to clean things up.
That's
So
fine.
let's stay tuned.
Thank you.
Erin Blanc, Linden Lane. Not going backward, I'm trying to go forward. I had a very nice conversation with Jen last night. I thought that maybe some things would have turned out differently today. I think I made some really good points to her, and like I said, I thought it was a really productive conversation. I've had some questions that I have not been able to get answered from different people around here, so I have a question. When do we think we'll have this contract situated? Does anyone have like a guess? Is it being worked on? That's my one question. Number two, is it a public contract that we can view? Let's see, I had a couple of questions, but I haven't been able to get answers. Okay, so this is a pool advisory committee. Sometimes it's called a board. Is there somewhere written bylaws or guidelines on how this was run, how it was created, why it was created, how we're supposed to operate?
There are, and that's in the contract that is expired. It
Yeah.
defines your remit of providing advice, and it defines how many appointees come from the township and how many come from the borough. So
Okay.
yes, it was a contract. Contract negotiations have started. When predating me, when the budget was discussed, there was talk about, as I mentioned in my update, we have to negotiate a number of
Right.
items with the town, with the borough that involve financial considerations, and this is among that. So I don't want to speak for my borough partners, but they have to, it's difficult for them to, when 3 items are coming out at them, they're looking at their affordability for all of them. So while they're going to try to look at the pool likely individually, they know there are other contract negotiations with us on jointly managed assets that are coming forward that may belay the conclusion of that contract discussion. I don't think unless you want to comment, I don't think we can project for you how long it will take for us to negotiate with our partners in the borough. So that's why the update said that now that we're ready to operate safely and everything is in place, and the Pool Advisory Committee continued their advice work from the expiry of the contract back September, 8 months ago, until now, right up until we're ready to launch, that any advice that could come forward can be given directly at the facility. There isn't, and because our staff is part-time, it allows them to work with everybody, not just you, but our staff can work with everybody at the facility to understand what their concerns and questions are. And that can filter up to this board.
Is there going to be a different mode of contacting John or Alicia or the commissioners or anyone here? Because I think that it's a lot of different people that they could choose to contact, and it might get a little muddy, like who got the information, did we pass it on, did we share it? And I also have concerns about John and Alicia at the front desk. They're busy, and John's concentrating on what's at hand in front of him day to day and safety. And, you know, to be receiver of the complaint department would take away from what he's trying to do there. So I'd love to see like a better avenue for contact instead of just chasing John down at the pool. I don't think that's fair to him.
Thank you.
So, but I don't think I got an answer. So I haven't seen, like when I was new to this pool advisory committee, I didn't know what the role was, were there guidelines? Is that somewhere that can be viewed?
It's in the expired contract, and
So I
I
can't
believe
see
that
it.
is a public document, so
Okay, that's what
you
I'm
can
asking,
receive
where
a
I
copy
can-
of it.
Right. I will ask for that then another time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a comment, this is a pool advisory board. They don't make any decisions. They assist in the operation of the facility. There's no reason to discontinue that operation, just way of a whim or a vendetta against somebody who was appointed. I know in last meeting in December, I can't work with somebody who ran against me. So, you know, I get all that, but there's no reason to dissolve it unnecessarily.
Sandy Mussolino, Forest Hills Drive. I think the one question we all have is that we are a volunteer board. We're not being paid. So allowing us to meet throughout the summer before this new contract comes, just to continue to keep continuity with what's going on, doesn't seem to be something that cannot happen. I agree with Aaron that John and Alicia and the other assistant managers and crew are very busy during the summer. We don't want to pull away from them. And each one of the people that are currently here on the board has made relationships with these people at the pool, and they come to us. I worked long hours last year with Alicia, going over what was needed at the front desk, what a computer program should look like, on her off hours when she was finished her shift. And we were able to come back as a board and talk to Commissioner Andrus and talk to Scott about what was needed for this computer program. You're cutting that link off. I know you're going to reorganize. I know it's a new contract. But until the new contract is written, there's no reason why a bunch of volunteers cannot continue to meet. And since we meet after pool hours, we're not taking away from John working with the staff or the staff working with the members. Thank you.
Madam Solicitor, can we move on the agenda, or do we need to repeat?
Another comment coming. Taking the long route.
Bob Lenowette, 640 Brighton Drive, Hatfield, Pennsylvania. How many other boards are you going to pause, Commissioners? I hope none, but I've been on a few boards in the last 40 years that I've lived in Hatfield, and one of them was the pool board. We've known it for 20-some years, president, worker, doing all this stuff. I don't understand why you would want to pause. It's the summertime. All the people get information. The pool board, they go out and they walk the community. They talk to the people. Who's going to do that now? You think people are going to sit there and text people? They're not going to do it. So please reconsider this at your next meeting. Don't pause. Get them going. And watch out what you're going to do to the other boards. There's a lot of boards. Are you going to pause them? Don't do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It would be my recommendation, if you want to take a vote on something that's not listed on the agenda, that you first make a vote to amend the agenda to include that item, and then take a vote on the item. Because it's de minimis, it can be raised from the dais. It doesn't include the expenditure of funds. That would be my recommendation.
So motion to amend the agenda.
Yes, a motion to amend the agenda.
Motion to amend the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second person?
I would be more specific. Let me form the motion
Okay.
for you.
Okay, thank
A
you.
motion to amend the agenda to include a vote to pause the meetings of the pool advisory board. Someone can say so moved if they want to make that motion.
So moved.
Someone can make a second if they'd like to second it.
Second. All in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, it is passed. So we have amended the agenda to include pausing the Pool Advisory Committee for the 2026 season.
Now would you like us
So
to take
now
a
I
vote?
would, now you should vote on the item. I feel like you've had public comment on the item, so you should now have a vote on the item itself.
Okay, and thank you for everybody that participated in that and your feedback. So I'm going to take a vote for all those in favor of pausing the Pool Advisory Board. Please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, it has passed. Okay, we're going to move on to the Public Works Committee with Commissioner Zitfeld, please.
Okay, much less exciting, I guess, but still very important stuff. So please don't all, I was going to say, please don't all run out the door. And yet it happens as I say the words. All right, we'll just take a second
Yep.
as everyone walks out.
While we take that second, may I ask Chief Tierney, thank you for helping us tonight. I appreciate that.
Sorry for interrupting the meeting.
No, it's good. It was good.
Thank you, Chief.
It all worked out. And would you be able to give the Public Safety Committee report, since Shahidul is, Commissioner Partha is away on a Zoom?
Have it available?
All right, I get it.
We will get that for you.
We will have it.
All right.
I'll make it extra long tonight.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
4 pages.
All is well is not a sufficient report, by the way.
That's my line.
I know. That's who I stole it from. Okay, if the remaining folks are are with me, we're going to talk about Public Works for a second. We've got a nice report. So I'm actually pleased to report the Public Works crews continue to make strong progress on inlet and road restoration work throughout the township in preparation of this year's paving program. Milling operations began today at the Aquatic Center parking area, and we expect paving of the entrance section to be completed later this week. Following the primary election, where there's going to be a lot of people because this is one of the polling places, we'll have paving operations. We'll move to the township parking lot itself. The same contractor will pave the nature area parking lot adjacent to the police station. We have a separate contractor who's doing the road paving, and we expect a more refined schedule for them within the next week or so. So next, our Public Works staff has been assisting in the aquatic center with several projects to help prepare the pool and surrounding facilities for the upcoming season. In addition, we're partnering with students and volunteers from Oak Park Elementary, Hatfield Elementary, and A.M. Culp Elementary for community beautification and environmental stewardship efforts, including planting projects and stream cleanup activities. We also hosted a successful Earth Day event at the Public Works Garage on April 18th. It was on Facebook, and it looked very successful. So also I'd like to note several facility and equipment improvements that we've recently completed. We installed a new ADA compliant concrete ramp and entranceway improvements at the Public Works facility based on recommendations from Divot. In addition, our new Public Works dump truck has been officially delivered and was funded through the township's liquid fuels allocation. If you want to know more about liquid fuels, come back around budget time, and we have a little presentation associated with that. It's more interesting than it sounds, actually. So staff has submitted the township's annual PennDOT liquid fuels approval documentation, and crews have begun preparing mulch locations throughout the township for the spring and the summer season. So that's the Public Works report for this meeting.
Thank you. Great report. I am going to do the Parks and Rec Committee unless Chief, you want to go before me? No, you are.
I thought you were going to ask me to read that committee report.
I'll do Parks and Rec first. I know, that's why. Okay. We're going to do Parks and Rec Get Fit classes. There are lots of options this year, so we're going to be having Zumba 9 a.m. on Sundays here at the Township Building, and there's a mini summer session May 31st to June 14th. We will also this summer have Remix, and that's Mondays, 7 p.m. here at the Township Building, and the mini summer session will be June 1st to June 15th. We will also have yoga Thursdays, 7 p.m. at the Township Building. We will have a mini summer session June 4th to June 18th, and we will have Aqua Zumba June 22nd to August 17th. That's on Mondays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. At the Aquatic Center. Our prices vary, and they will be up on our website. So they run for classes, and the number of weeks will be on our website. For pickleball, we have the spring and summer, fall agenda is on the website as well, April 6th to October 30th. So that's running now Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's at the Hatfield Pickleball Courts at 2500 North Chestnut Street. We will have pickleball lessons June 6th. That's session 1 will be 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Session 2 will be 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the Hatfield Pickleball Courts, again, I told you that address, and anybody interested, please. Becky McHenry, she's still here. You can get in touch with her. She's one of our instructors. Thank you, Becky. And registration, again, is on our website at hatfieldrec.com. So some of our events coming up. We did the plant exchange. The plant exchange is coming up on Saturday. My apologies. Plant exchange and garden party will be this weekend, Saturday, May 16th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And that is also here at the Township Building. And you can ask the experts in landscaping, home gardening, and more will be available to assist you about home gardening, water runoff, native plants, and other topics. We have International Day of Yoga coming up Sunday, June 21st, and that's at 7 p.m. at the Hatfield Arboretum, and that'll be at 8:30 Princeton Place. And this is a free event. So then we have our music feast. Ashley Brody from Parks and Rec has done an awesome job getting this together, and it was not easy. But she has our save the dates, June 29th, July 27th, and August 10th, and then August 24th. We have a lot of our favorite bands coming. Challenge Accepted is the first one, Chico's Vibe, Barefoot, Bobby, and Breakers. That's August 10th, and then August 24th is Harvest Moon. And those are all on Mondays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at School Road Park. And food will be for sale from our BSA Scout Troops 22-9B and 22-9G. We also have a special Friday night concert, so mark your calendar, with Real Diamond. It's an excellent band, I've heard. And that's Friday, July 17th. And that will be in coordination with the Parks and Rec Celebration Month. And then some other, another event we have coming up. This is not through Parks and Rec, but we will be having our Pride and Diversity celebration on June 9th, and that will be at 6 p.m. at the police station. And there will be a flag raising that night. Okay, and I will move on to Public Safety Committee. Thank you, Chief.
Is everybody prepared to be wowed and amazed with this report?
Wait a minute, give me a second.
All right, so in April, the Hatfield Police Department responded with a total of 3,302 calls for service, reflecting continued proactive policing and operational activity. The department handled a total of 14 Part 1 crimes, which are the most serious of crimes, and 29 Part 2 crimes, which is the next level down from Part 1, obviously, if you're following my scorecard here. The overall reduction in both Part 1 and Part 2 offenses indicates a continued downward trend in criminal activity and effective enforcement and prevention efforts. Traffic safety efforts remained a priority during April. There was a total of 48 vehicle crashes, representing a 7% increase compared to 45 crashes in April of 2025. Year-to-date data shows a 19% decrease in reportable crashes compared to 2025. Officers conducted 520 traffic stops and 397 selective enforcement details, resulting in 367 warnings and 245 summonses being issued. Additionally, the department conducted aggressive driving details, reinforcing roadway safety and targeting high-risk driving behaviors. Community engagement remains a key activity throughout April. Officers conducted 1,028 community engagement patrol activities, resulting in a 30% increase compared to April 2025. In addition to routine engagements, our officers are everywhere. If you try to keep track, we go everywhere to put the Hatfield brand out and the Hatfield Police Department out to any public who will pay attention to us. So we did a painting with a cop PAL event. We were at Del Valle University for a recruitment event. We did a Safe Schools meeting at North Penn High School. We had a hub meeting, International Festival at North Penn High School, Temple University recruitment effort, and our annual Drug Take Back Day. And all these things go toward everything we try to do for the public. We try to be everywhere. We try to be a smiling face. We try to be concerned, a concerned hand. Anything we can do to let the public know we're here for them, we try to do. So hopefully we do a good job at that.
Thank you. Great report. Thank you very much. Oh, wow.
Please.
Uh-oh.
Applause after reports now. This is incredible. We've
Shahid will read it better than I do.
we've really moved into a different direction now with applause.
Yes.
For Chief only. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you so much. Okay, for our Finance Committee report, our Hatfield Township 2026 budget performance remains stable overall, with revenues and expenditures generally tracking within expectations through the first portion of the fiscal year. The general fund has generated approximately $5.83 million in revenue against a full-year budget of $14.5 million, driven largely by strong real estate tax collections, earned income taxes, and permit activity. Real estate taxes remain ahead of prior year totals, while transfer taxes, permit fees, and public safety reimbursements continue to provide important supplemental revenue sources. Interest earnings also remain strong due to higher account balances and market rates. On the expenditure side, the township has incurred approximately $4.2 million in general fund expenses compared to the annual budget of $14.3 million. Police services remain our township's largest operating expense, followed by employee benefits, insurance, and public works operations. Public works expenditures include ongoing road maintenance, stormwater improvements, snow and ice operations, and preparation for the township paving program. Capital investments also continue, including progress on the new police station project and the acquisition of equipment such as a new public works vehicles funded through liquid fuels. Other township funds, including fire, parks and rec, pool, and capital reserve funds, are also generally performing within expectations. Seasonal revenue-generating operations such as the Aquatic Center and recreation programming are expected to increase significantly during the summer months as operations fully ramp up. And that is the end of my report. Okay, so we will move into township staff reports.
Thank you, President Lestracco.
Thank
Try this
you.
again. Thank you, President Lestracco.
Thank
Can
you.
we clap now after that?
No, we're good.
Tina, I don't get a clap? All right. All right, I have several items, Commissioners, tonight to go over, and I will try to be brief with all of them. First one, we partnered with Calmer Fire last year to apply for a grant for funding to build a pole barn at their facility, as well as some improvements to security and other some pressing needs in the building. We were lucky enough to be granted the award. Now that we're moving to administer the grant and start the project, we have an agreement on the agenda for the board to review and to consider at the next meeting. What this agreement essentially says is, now that it has been awarded, the township is handing over the responsibilities of the grant to Calmer. Since they'll be the ones managing the projects, they'll then be the ones able to interact directly with DCED to get all of the reimbursements. Mr. Lanuette in the audience is actually going to be the project manager as a volunteer for Calmer, and we know his expertise and his experience, and will do probably a much better job than we would have. So we are lucky to have him, and this is simply a housekeeping item to make sure that that happens. It's roughly a $100,000 grant to make some really nice improvements at one of our two firehouses.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
For those, I'm going to embarrass him just for a second. If those of you don't know, Bob, I think, holds the record for most volunteer organizations, participating in the most volunteer organizations over the last number of years, and he's been an incredible asset to Hatfield. Thank you, Bob.
How many years, if you could tell us? Yeah.
Oh,
20 plus, I was going to say probably 20 plus. Well, thank you for your 20 plus years.
you're lowballing it. I know you are.
All right.
Because we gave you an award a
He
number of
looks-
years ago.
He looks
Yep.
about 30, so.
Oh, yeah, well, he's only like 30 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah. No, we were saying you only are 30 years old. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be great, 30 more.
All right, sorry.
No
Digress.
problem. I'm here whenever you're ready. All right, item number 2. I think most of the commissioners are familiar with this project. I'd imagine the residents are as well. The connector road that opened last summer, that was considered phase 2 of a 3-phase project. PennDOT, and be careful saying anything negative about PennDOT. We do have a PennDOT employee in the room hiding, so let's keep our comments positive about PennDOT. I will not reveal his identity.
Which chair is he sitting in?
As PennDOT does a great job, by the way. Great partners, great municipal partners. As PennDOT acquires right-of-way for Phase 3, PennDOT realized that it needs to acquire some right-of-way from Hatfield Township. There will be widening done on Route 309 south of where the connector comes in. And in that widening, PennDOT realized that there's a section outside of PennDOT right-of-way along 309. Let me give you guys some more context here. At Unionville and 309, along the red line, there's right-of-way outside of what PennDOT currently owns, and it is owned by the township from many, many, many years ago. So PennDOT is currently acquiring right-of-way throughout that entire corridor on 309. We are one of, I think, over 60 property owners that are in current conversations with PennDOT. PennDOT had the property appraised. It's just a little sliver right off of 309 that you see in shaded in red. PennDOT had the property appraised and is offering the township appraised value, which is over $50,000 for this section of right-of-way that would then go to PennDOT for this project. So the Township engineer, Brian's office, Anton's office, our traffic engineer reviewed it and thought it was appropriate as written. So tonight is just simply a quick discussion. It would go toward the regular meeting for formal consideration, and the township would receive over $50,000. PennDOT receives its right-of-way to continue on with the HT3 project. And I'm not going to go into too many details about HT3. I think what would be smart, though, is if we have a PennDOT representative, one of their engineers, come out to a meeting maybe this summer to give the community an update. This is the design for HT3 as it currently stands. It's not a great map for me to point out all of the details of it. So I could certainly do that, Commissioner Andrews. This is Route 309. This is the connector road. So it would pick up a Township Line Road, we're calling Wombold Road now. The Wombold Road extension would come here. There's going to be a lot of improvements in this area, which Chief would probably concur that it's our most dangerous corridor from a vehicular standpoint. So there will be a lot of improvements made here that will make it safer. This is Berge Road right here. So there's a lot going on, including a roundabout, which are very polarizing. Some love them, some hate them. But a roundabout is being proposed in HT3. So we'll have a PennDOT representative come out this summer and give us a really in-depth analysis of what's to come. But this is not happening anytime soon. PennDOT has a lot of work to do. Construction's expected to begin in '27 with a completion at 2030. So not too far along, but not tomorrow. Please.
Before you move off that slide, our little sliver for 50,000, it's way down
Way down
there.
here.
Yeah, when you
way down.
before you get to Unionville.
Right, because
Okay.
the Unionville intersection is going to have some improvements as well. There's going to be 2 turn lanes northbound on 309 going to Unionville. They're widening it to create. We all know how much traffic is in that area, so we think this will be a significant improvement. But we are part of the process as a property owner of right-of-way that PennDOT needs for the project, so we're participating.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, next item, another PennDOT related item. Two stretches recently received Jake brake restrictions by PennDOT. In order to formalize the process, the commissioners have to adopt an ordinance that would include these restrictions. Both have already been approved by PennDOT. Both have already been, some of the signage is actually already up. More will be going up. 2 corridors specifically, one 40-foot road entering into the township from Talmenson. It's actually, I didn't drag my red line long enough, but this restriction actually goes all the way through the Hatfield Borough. The section in Talmenson is restricted as well. This was just a gap that PennDOT had missed along the way, which was requested by several residents in that area for them to consider. That's one. The second is actually the road we were just talking about, the Wombold Road extension from Allentown to Cowpath. PennDOT is recommending Jake brake restrictions through that section. So, Commissioners, you'll have an ordinance on your next meeting to consider, and then there'll be signage throughout that corridor. And of course, the challenge with any of these restrictions then goes to the police department to enforce, which is not an easy enforcement, but they do a fantastic job.
Can you go back to the last?
Sure.
The one on 40 foot? I'm
Yes.
trying to get my bearings here.
This is Del Webb.
Yeah, I was going to say, all right, I had it in my mind, I had it flip-flop. I was trying to figure out where, so that's just kind of an undeveloped version of it.
This is an older map, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
This is
okay.
Lowe's, PJ's. It's the entire stretch of 40 foot.
And that had been approved some time ago, which is really good. And
Correct.
I don't see any, maybe there are some Del Webb folks here, that's in my ward, and we've spent quite a bit of time talking about this. We were very pleased when that came through. And that has had an impact, just having the signage, and then obviously, Chief, with monitoring and, regular review. I've gotten good reports back from Del Webb residents, a few who kind of live and die each morning listening to this, and now not having to listen to it, are very pleased with the results. So if anyone thinks, yeah, I agree. So if anyone thinks that the signage doesn't have an impact, it absolutely does. And then obviously it gives the police the opportunity to then enforce, which is really important. So it really has had a nice impact on the Del Webb community. So thank you for putting all that together. And
Thank you.
Chief for the enforcement of it.
Absolutely, and really credit goes, of course, the chief, but his traffic safety team that he's created over the last few years. We've had officers actually take residents from Del Webb in their car, sit with them, and let them see what they see to help them understand and educate them on the process of what is and what isn't a violation.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, really.
We have this scheduled for your meeting on May 27th. It may get bumped to June. I'm waiting on some information which may affect that timing, so just a heads up.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Exciting.
Thank you, commissioners. All right, next item, Human Relations Commission. Let me get out of this. I have some notes on this topic, commissioners. This is the first time we've discussed this publicly, so I want to make sure I outline it correctly, and I'll certainly happily answer any questions that you might have, if I can. So just so everyone is aware, a Human Relations Commission, it's a local board established by ordinance by the elected officials under the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act to promote equal treatment, discourage discrimination, and provide a local avenue for education, communication, and mediation related to human relations issues within a community. These commissions are commonly focused on matters involving employment, housing, public accommodations, commercial property, and are intended to reinforce a municipality's commitment to fairness, inclusion, and respectful treatment of all residents. As we reviewed along with our solicitor's office, these ordinances and the requirements to establish an HRC, we looked at several nearby municipalities, including ones that are already in place in Lansdale, Lower Gwynedd, Lower Merion, Norristown, North Wales, Plymouth, Royersford, Springfield, Monco, Talmenson, and Montgomery Township. How these towns have set these up, the commissions generally function more as educational, advisory, and mediation-oriented bodies rather than judicial or enforcement agencies. In these municipalities, the primary purpose is to provide a local avenue for residents to raise concerns, encourage voluntary conflict resolution, promote community outreach and education, and reinforce the municipality's commitment to fairness and inclusion. Typically, these commissions are made up of volunteer residents appointed by the governing body, and municipalities have some flexibility in determining the size of the commission, the appointment structure, the terms, procedures, and scope of responsibilities. Importantly, the commissions generally do, this is an important part that I want everybody to understand, the commissions do not operate as courts and do not independently impose criminal penalties or fines. Instead, they typically receive complaints, they coordinate mediation efforts, and when appropriate, refer unresolved matters to the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission or the court system. Overall, the municipalities that we looked at appear to use these commissions primarily as tools for communication, education, mediation, and community engagement rather than aggressive enforcement mechanisms. So that is an introduction to the concept of what is a Human Relations Commission. If the board would like to move forward with establishing this commission, we would need a consensus this evening, obviously, and then we would work with the solicitor's office in drafting an ordinance that would be modeled after the other towns that I mentioned that I will distribute and share with our commissioners before consideration. If approved and if adopted, at that point, the commissioners would then appoint volunteer board members to serve on our Human Relations Commission. And at that point, we're off and running with those individuals receiving training, having meetings, orientations, and then establishing a process for what exactly will take place from there. So at this point, it's simply an introduction about the commission itself, and happy to answer questions or discuss further.
Okay. I know that Montgomery County is doing, or they're changing theirs. I know Commissioner Partha happens to be part of those discussions. And just looking at other municipalities, they do have this in place. So it's something that I wanted to bring forward that's of interest, especially to me. But I'm just speaking for myself as an individual.
So a few comments. Historically, here in Hatfield, we had, someone brought this to us previously, and we had a public discussion about it, and it didn't get legs, for a lack of better terminology, for a couple of different reasons, and I'll articulate those. And I'm happy to continue the conversation, and I think it's good, especially to have it as a public conversation. So unfortunately, you're going to have to bear with me for a few minutes. I know I'm familiar with this because I used to work for the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, the PHRC. And these HRCs are modeled after the PHRC. There's not many people who can actually say they actually used to work, they worked for the commission. So I know that there's really two ways, typically there's two ways to approach creating an HRC like this, a local one anyway. There's one that creates a regulatory scheme, which basically, and I mildly disagree with what Aaron just said. I think a lot of townships create more of a mediation type scenario, but there is also the alternative, which is a much more complex scenario where you're setting up almost, if it's not adjudicatory, it pretty much looks and feels like it's adjudicatory. And then there would be board members and they would vote and they would have decision making. And I would think that if we went down that road, we're talking about appointing a solicitor, we're talking about training for people so they understand the nuance of employment discrimination, housing discrimination, and just generally mistreatment under the law. So let me take a quick step back. I am not making this an objection to the conversation because I disagree with any of the federal, state, or local laws. Quite the opposite. 100% agree with the protections that are afforded under Title VII, which is a federal law, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act, which is a state law, and then any other employment laws that generally apply. And that means protection against discrimination, retaliation in employment, in housing, and general mistreatment in circumstances based on any of the protected categories that you would typically hear about: age, race, sexual orientation, gender, sex, military representation. All of those, 100% support those. It's the right thing under the law, and quite frankly, I can't imagine anyone would rightly make decisions based on someone's protected category anymore, but the laws are necessary and important. Having said that, creating a regulatory scheme here in the township was considered some years ago, and we said it's unworkable. It's not the right format. So that's the one possibility of creating, like I said, the regulatory scheme. The alternative to that, which I think you've probably seen more often, is the mediation education type scenario. Nothing wrong with that in a lot of ways, right? Because there's nothing wrong with having a government entity articulating support and also protections as needed. My concern when we addressed this some years ago was it puts neighbors literally in a position of negotiating, mediating, I should say, and possibly even making decisions on disputes between neighbors. And that was a scary and divisive concept to me. So back then, some years ago, we said, no, this is not something that we're particularly excited about. Keep in mind, I don't want anyone to think that anyone who falls into any of the protected categories I just articulated are left unprotected. Federal law protects all of everyone who falls into those categories. Pennsylvania Human Relations Act covers about 90% of them. The one area that they don't is sexual orientation, which still baffles me in Pennsylvania that that's not protected under the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act. But put that aside, this creates an additional governmental review or layer that, if done right, I think can be helpful. If done wrong, can create essentially, I think, a regulatory scheme that's more frightening than anything. Because then you have not just complaint, discovery, adjudication, appeal rights. All of that is particularly difficult for us, I think. I don't think that we as a municipal, providing municipal services, are equipped to handle that. The EEOC is, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is, for sure. They were created to do that. And so I say that again, not to be a kind of a fly in the ointment, but to be mindful of the fact that as we go through this process, this is the prism with which at least I know that I look at it. And kind of on the informal area, I fear that some people would use it as a mechanism to say, I have a problem with my neighbor and now I want the township to take care of it. That's not particularly an environment that I want to encourage here in the township. At the same time, if it involves education and with regard to protections based on protected categories, then I think it's worthy of continued conversation.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Ditto.
No? Okay, thank you. So we have personnel manual amendment.
How should we proceed with the human relations? Is there a consensus to begin drafting a township ordinance for review, or should we, it's up to the commissioners?
I think we should
And I guess the only
draft something
direction
for
would
now.
be how deep we want to get into it, because I think what Tom mentioned, I'll try to interpret it from a non-attorney perspective. Somebody can come in, we can list an 800 numbers, call this person, or this group or this authority to get the support you need, or we go down the route of having some arbitrary, or some board that we appoint who will need an attorney at some point to interpret and move the conversation forward. So what level of process do we want to go down?
I mean, I'm looking at more what they're doing in Montgomery Township, which I can't speak to whether or not they do have a lawyer. I mean, I know they have one because they're a municipality, but it wouldn't be something like what you're thinking. That I don't.
Not the
but I
first
don't
part
know.
where we just
Right.
provide a number, but the second
Right.
part where we have a council. I would assume
Yeah,
the
we would have a
council's not you.
council.
That'd be an external council?
Can you speak to that?
I have not been involved with one of these commissions, to be honest with you. I know many of them that exist, and we do have a number of those model ordinances. The ones that I've seen have been draft more of the mediation type for consideration, more of that, let's sit down and talk, be educated, and have people who can help bridge the gap in communications, not so much as a tribunal,
Yeah.
but there's something that we could draft something and put it in front of you so that you could look at it, if that's what you want. It's up to you.
If I can make a recommendation, see if we can get a consensus on this. Can you circulate, and Aaron, you mentioned a number of different, townships, boroughs that you've seen some version of a local Human Relations Commission, right? Maybe circulate those with a draft, along with a draft of, so we know what the options and possibilities are. I'm kind of lucky because I work in this area every day for many, many years. But that doesn't mean that even I understand all the different possibilities of all the different towns of what people have chosen and then we choose what works for us, or we at least consider what works for us.
Sure.
If that's, and so really what we're doing is two things, is you're taking a first crack at an ordinance based on what you're seeing that works in other townships. At the same time, we're also sharing what other townships are doing, so the five of us can say, okay, what do we think, what works for
If the
us?
consensus, just so I have some direction, if the consensus is that you would like more of the mediation type option and not a tribunal,
Yes.
as you described,
Yes.
I can lean in that direction in that draft, so that we can at least start there. Is that what you would like to do?
I think so, and then,
Yeah.
I think
do
that's where
too.
I said yes.
and then, like I said, share other
Some other
townships that
samples
have a
for you.
similar type.
Yeah, and all the ones I referenced, I reviewed the ordinances, they're all essentially the same. And they're all mediation. All of them reference that if they can't come to a resolution, it gets sent to the state or through the court system.
Yeah.
They're basically a first stop. If
Right.
one of the two parties doesn't want to participate, they don't have to.
Yeah, I'm not looking to get into the nuance or the details tonight. I was going to ask that exact question. And I'll give you a super quick example. In order to file a Title VII claim, typically, not always, but almost always, someone has to go to the EEOC first. You have to exhaust their administrative remedy of going to the EEOC. In the other towns, are you seeing that there's an obligation of parties to go and exhaust administrative remedies or mediation remedies at the township level before they go to the PHRC or the EEOC?
I'll look into that, I'm not
You're
sure.
looking at it? Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
What I will do
That
is-
was unfair for me to ask.
No
that.
problem.
I know.
I will summarize the other ones while our solicitor's office drafts what she thinks makes sense based on the tone of this conversation. I'll provide a summary so you can just see what the other towns are doing while we draft
Right.
ours.
The commissions operate, as I understand it, as that local level mediation to avoid people to have to enter into a formal process, to give people a resource locally so they can avoid that formality and maybe expense or exposure. So we'll take a crack at it and put something in front of you.
Thank you.
Do you want a formal vote to proceed? We're okay? Okay, very good. All right, we'll have a draft and information for the board to review at some point in the coming weeks. Last item for my township manager's report is simply a housekeeping item. Juneteenth is a federal holiday. However, we have not updated our personnel manual in quite some time, so that is not included in our personnel manual. So this would simply be an amendment has to be by resolution, which would be at the next meeting, a resolution to amend our personnel manual to include Juneteenth, which is a federal holiday for the township employees to reserve.
Sounds good.
All right.
That would be an incremental holiday to them, since they don't have it now.
It would be, correct.
Incremental to 14 days now, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. That is all I have, President Lestracco and commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great report. Solicitor's report.
I have a tax settlement appeal, big bucks coming our way with this one. This is for 2622 Bethlehem Pike. I prepared a memo summarizing this. It should be in your packets. The district filed an assessment appeal in 2023. The board adjudicated it as a no change in assessment. They appealed it to the Court of Common Pleas, and the school district and the property owner have suggested a resolution, which is an increase, which is what the school district wanted. We benefit from it. It's a slight increase for the years 25 and 26, and it yields a check to the township in the amount of $3,196.72. It is my recommendation that you vote in favor of executing this settlement stipulation.
Happily. We're just.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? This is a lot of
We're
money.
not, no, it's not at your report. It's
Somebody pointed to chief.
Yeah.
Pays for Chief's blazer.
Yeah, the one you want.
Blazer. We call them jackets now. Motion to approve the settlement agreement, please.
Oh.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, citizens' comments. Please come to the podium if you have any citizens' comments, and please give us your name and address. Okay, seeing none, we will head to our adjournment. I need a motion for adjourning the meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner DeLassio, seconded by Commissioner Zipfel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks for coming out, everybody.